Alright, I'm back to another album review. Today's review is on Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys by My Chemical Romance. This is the fourth studio album by MCR. The album was recorded in Calabasas, California. It was self-produced with help from Rob Cavallo. The mixing was done by Chris Lord-Alge. The sound engineer was Doug McKean. The assistant sound engineers were Russ Waugh and Steve Ray. Additional mixing was provided by Andrew Schubert, Brad Townsend, Keith Armstrong, and Nick Carpin. The album was mastered by Ted Jensen. Jamie Mahoberic was on keyboards in the studio despite not being an official member of the band. The album was released on November 22nd, 2010 on Reprise Records. Just like The Black Parade, Danger Days is a rock opera. The album's story takes place in California in 2019, where this group of people known as the Killjoys fight against an evil corporation called Better Living Industries. On a side note, the real 2019 was 1,000 times worse compared to how it was portrayed on the album. A major contrast from this and its predecessors is the tone. It still retains the band's signature pop-punk sound, but also incorporates elements of pop rock, power pop, electronic rock, and even arena rock. Now let's talk about the songs. The intro to this album is Look Alive Sunshine. This is where the character Dr. Death Defying, played by Stephen Montano of Mindless Self-Indulgence, is telling the Killjoys to make some noise. Next track is Na 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 Na, which was released as a single on September 28th, 2010. If you were to listen to this song, then you can easily tell how different this album is compared to its predecessors. MCR's previous albums had a darker tone, but this one is the total opposite. The song's music video depicts the band as the Killjoys. Gerard Way is Party Poison. Mikey Way is Cobra Kid. Frankie Iero is Fun Ghoul. And Ray Toro is Jetstar. I'm going to leave a link to the video in the description. After that is Bulletproof Heart, which was released as a single on June 13th, 2011. I'd say this is among my favorite songs from this album. Next up is Sing, which was released as a single on November 3rd, 2010. Gerard Way and Paul Brown directed the song's music video. There's a link in the description. Up next is Planetary Go, which was released as a single on March 25th, 2011. This track is focused on electronic rock, synth pop, and even dance punk to an extent. The song was even featured in the game Gran Turismo 5, and not just the game's intro. At the time, I didn't know that the song was by MCR because I had my own soundtrack in the game, and I rarely ever watched the intro. Do you remember my review of The Black Parade when I said The End was the first MCR song I ever heard? Well, it turns out Planetary Go was the first, and I just didn't realize that at the time. This track received a music video. There's a link in the description. We followed up with The Only Hope for Me Is You, which was released as a single on October 12th, 2010. This track touches upon electronic rock and even space rock to a lesser extent. I never expected MCR to touch upon space rock. That's followed up by Jetstar and the Cobra Kid / Traffic Report. This is where Dr. Death Defying talks about the traffic report as indicated by the title. The following track is Party Poison. I mentioned earlier that Party Poison is Gerard Way's character in the album's story. The track that follows is Save Yourself, I'll Hold Them Back. The song is about one of the gunfights in the story. The track that comes next is Scarecrow. This is another song that touches upon electronic rock. The track that comes after that is Summertime. The song contains elements of both electronic rock and arena rock. What comes after that is Destroya. Overall, I'd say this is my favorite song from the album. It's also one of the heavier songs. What comes next is The Kids from Yesterday, which was released as a single on January 20th, 2012. It looks like this is Party Poison telling everyone this could be the last ride for the Killjoys. The second to last track is Goodnight, Dr. Death. This is the last track featuring Dr. Death Defying. The end features an instrumental version of the Star Spangled Banner. The finale of this album is Vampire Money. I believe this is where the Killjoys bring down Better Living Industries and get all their money. I need to mention that the Japanese version has a bonus track called 0%. As you can see, my copy is in fact the Japanese version. So let me focus. I also should mention that the iTunes and California 2019 versions have another bonus track called We Don't Need Another Song About California. The problem is that the California 2019 version is super expensive on Discogs. Another thing that should be mentioned about that version is that it came with an exclusive EP called The Mad Gear and Missile Kid. The EP was completely self-produced. It was mixed by Doug McKean and recorded by Dan Chase. It was also MCR's only record to have Michael Petticone on drums. The EP was a major contrast from Danger Days because it's mostly in the realm of garage punk. Rhythm guitarist Frankie Yarrow said the EP is what the Killjoys were listening to during the gunfights and in their car. Gerard Way wanted to make the Mad Gear and Missile Kid into a full album, but this never happened due to the band splitting up in 2013. More on that in a future episode. Now let's briefly discuss the songs. The first song is FTWWW. The title is actually an abbreviation for Fuck This Whole Wide World. To be honest, it's the most relatable song on the EP. The second song is Masters of Ravencroft. This really brings out the garage punk sound of the EP. The third and final song is Black Dragon Fighting Society. This is the most fast-paced song on the EP. I feel like the Mad Gear and Missile Kid is an expansion of Danger Days. And it's a shame that it was never made into a full album. When researching Danger Days, I read that it peaked in number 8 on the Billboard 200, as well as number 1 on the US Top Rock Albums and Top Alternative Albums. It was also certified gold in the US, UK, Ireland, and New Zealand. The critics mostly gave the album positive reviews since it has a 70 on Metacritic. It's just that the AV Club gave it a D-, so it's fair to say that the AV Club is full of shit. On a side note, I read that Gerard Way teamed up with Sean Simon to create a comic series that continues the story. The series ran for 6 issues between June 12th, 2013 and January 1st, 2014. I have not read the comics, but I might check them out at some point. Now for my thoughts. I got a lot of enjoyment out of this album. It is MCR's most poppy sounding album, and in some ways feels more energetic than its predecessors. I'd argue that the reason why MCR went in this direction is because the Daily Mail gave them negative press by saying that they're emo, and MCR wanted to show how much they rejected being called emo. I don't know if that's a true reason why they decided to do this, but it does sound plausible. The album itself is almost as good as The Black Parade. I highly recommend it, especially the Japanese version or California 2019 version. Now it's the part where I question you. Have you listened to Danger Days? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? If you have this album, which version do you have? Do you think the Mad Gear and Missile Kid should be made into a full album? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify the future videos. Thanks for watching. Now I'll be back soon with another review.